defer our approving January 2025 minutes to the next meeting.
All right, we have a motion to amend the agenda to remove the approval of minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the motion passes. So item 2, approval of minutes from January 14th is removed from the approved agenda. So we'll move on to old business, and we have none. So we'll move on to new business. So first item, 96 Sheridan Court, parcel ID number 6115002.000. And Shannon's going to recuse herself from this, so she is stepping out. And Wade, if you'll introduce the proposal.
Sure, thank you.
The request.
Like you said, this is 96 Sheridan Court. You see it's in the bulb of the cul-de-sac of Sheridan Court. And the specific is a request to reduce the minimum setback distance for an accessory structure from 5 feet to 3. The request is to reduce it to 3.5 feet on the north side of the property. You see the proposed storage building is there on the the right side of the screen. It's specifically a boat storage carport. And according to the applicant, his argument is that the lot has exceptional narrowness, so that that is the only spot on the lot where it would be feasible to put the storage building. It is in the RD zoning district. And the standard setback for an accessory structure is 5 feet, both the rear and the side. Actually, first off, the 3.5 foot is greater than the maximum 25% that's possible. Actually, the maximum would be 3 feet 9 inches. Not 3 inches difference, but that is what is allowed by the UDC. You can see on the screen that is really the pretty accurate location of the house. It is approximately 9 feet from the rear lot line, where standard in the RD district now under current regulations, the rear setback minimum is 15 feet. So obviously the rear yard on this is substantially reduced. And just point out that that setback is consistent with the plat of the Hunter Point subdivision. That is what was approved permissible by that subdivision. In addition, the lot is only just a little over 6,500 square feet, whereas the current minimum now is 7,500 in the zoning district. So it does look at a reduced lot size and reduced setbacks for this. So, with that, I think that concludes what I had to say about this. So, if you have questions for me, I'd be glad to answer them. And I do believe is the applicant here for this. Yes, okay, thank you. The homeowner's here if you have questions for him.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, any questions for Wade before we?
Just on there's not really any dimensions on the drawing, so it's hard to tell if there's room or not to squeeze it over to closer to the house. It's kind of what I'm.
Yeah, it's not shown up well on this, but there are HVAC units on that side of the house that would basically prevent it from getting much closer to the house without conflicting with those units.
The fire department have any issues with this?
No, they were, no, they've not
I
had.
wouldn't think so, I just didn't know.
Any other questions for Wade?
No?
And sir, if you'll come up and state your name and address for the record and add anything, yes, sir.
James Holman, that's 96 Sheridan Court.
And if there's anything else, is there anything you would like to add? I'd like to always at least get you on the record as being here, or if you're here.
I can't think of nothing. I'm
Okay.
3.5 feet from the fence there. And this, if that's the closest I can be, then that's good enough.
Okay, that will work with what you're planning to do, and then you can either shorten the width 3 inches or shift it over 3 inches to get that additional 3 inches, okay? Okay,
But the dimensions of the
Of the shed,
boat shed can't be reduced a foot or shifted to the other side?
The other side, there's the air
Air
conditioning
conditioning.
unit, it's got the pipes and all coming out to it there. And I can get the building a little bit smaller than what I was originally wanting it to be, and still have room to get my boat under there. I was wanting to get to 18-foot wide, but that's not gonna work there. So I have to maybe go 16 on that.
How big's your boat?
How big is the
Yeah,
boat?
wide.
It's a 21-foot Nordic Star.
Uh-huh,
I'm
okay.
not sure how wide it is.
About 21 footer, yeah,
9, 10 feet, something like that.
okay. Inboard, outboard?
Sir,
Inboard, outboard?
it's outboard.
any other questions?
Why'd you put it?
And I guess, so you said you're gonna have to go narrower. I guess there's a standard dimension for those, and you're just have to buy the next standard dimension size down to go, since a 3-foot 9 will work to get inside that 3.5 foot. Be interested to know if that is, if it's, 2 feet smaller, then
Yeah.
don't really need a, need a variance. So, I guess, if we see it fit to, recommend approval, then it may not need it anyway, but
Sure.
just wanted to.
Thanks for coming.
Any other questions for? All right.
So you have the contractor already?
No,
Oh, okay, this
I
is,
checked on the building, and I just want to go through this first before I got things lined up with them.
yeah.
Nothing else? Have a seat, and if something else comes up,
Thank you.
bring it back up. Thank you. All right, is there anybody else here to speak for this request? Anybody to speak against? All right, now, looks like it says in the minutes there were no feedback related to this, no public feedback received by planning. All right, so further discussion.
Yes, sir.
All right, anybody like to make a motion, or?
Their dimensions. There we go.
I'll make a motion
There's 550.
to recommend approval of the variance from the minimum setback requirement to allow an accessory structure to be located 3 foot 9 inches from the north line at 96 Sheridan Court, due to the lot size being smaller than the recommended for the RD district.
All right, so we have a motion to recommend approval of the variance for the allowable 3 feet 9 inches on the north side. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye, all ayes, so the motion passes. Thank you. So this will be on, recommended on the floor next Tuesday in consent agenda. All right, so next item, and I'll wait for Shannon to get back in here. Second item, 2828 Longwood Drive, parcel ID number 61250015.000, requesting a reduction of rear setbacks in zone R2, Wade or Elizabeth. All right.
Just bear with me,
Yeah.
so don't mind.
Go right ahead. No, I should have called on you the first time, so.
It's
yeah,
okay.
go ahead.
They're requesting a variance from 25 feet to 21 feet, but it's not the whole entire addition to the house. It is only one partial corner of the property, as you can see, what is drawn. So it only be this little chunk slice, I guess you would call it, of the extension, that would be, technically need the variance, not the whole addition would need it. We didn't see it being a problem, it meets, sorry, it's zoned R2, I should say that, and,
Large lot.
it is a large lot, but the way that the house is not parallel to the front of the setback makes it where this would have to come into play if, since they want to do an extension. It would meet the rest of the requirements setback wise, except for that one little corner.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just gonna-
What about the width of the property?
The width of the property is approximately 68 feet.
And would also.
It does not meet
It
the,
doesn't meet the 80 foot.
Right.
Yes, and I think also the
Lot size is.
lot size does not meet, which is 9147, and it's supposed to be 1125.
Yeah,
But that is as was approved by the.
Back.
it's normal,
subdivision plan.
normal for that subdivision,
At
right?
that time, yes.
In 1975.
so this is not a new build, it's only a renovation?
Mhm, it's an extension of the,
It had-
Yeah, cul-de-sac lots are always, notorious. You gotta
Trapezoid.
push them back further because you.
Trapezoids are the
narrower.
Maybe in the
Furniture
words and
buffers,
variety.
so, yeah. Some engineers try to squeeze them in. Yeah. All right, thank you. Any questions for staff before we? No. Okay. And is the applicant here? Yeah, if you'll come up and state your name and address for the record, please, and if there's anything you want to add. Yeah, okay, and if not, you can say ditto. Yeah. So-
There's 2828 Longwood. It's actually slightly different than that now. We've got an architect involved. He's sliding, it's actually going to be a new build. They're going to tear down. They said there's so much changing that it wasn't worth trying to save because they literally have to jackhammer up the entire pad that it's on. So he said with that, we've got some freedoms to move the house a little bit, trying to alleviate the variances. But when it was all said and done, try to look at it this way. So the top corner is the front left of the house. So he's gonna slide that up a foot or so up to the, it'll still be within the 10-foot side variance. We don't wanna encroach on that. And it'll still be honoring the 25-foot front variance. And then out the back, it's gonna be built the way it's drawn there, but it's actually two corners, I don't wanna say the back right corner there.
I'm sorry,
On
this
that
one.
drawing, right there, yeah, it just clips that, like a foot of the house gets clipped there. So I don't want to be misleading, it's just that corner. It actually does just clip that. But then the other side, the bottom right of that drawing, is where the back corner will be still within 25 feet. But because of the way it's built into the angled lot, that room will be kind of
And I hate to stop you, interrupt you, but I'll just say, considering we're going from a addition to, a new house, I think I would like to see a site plan on this and not make a recommendation
We
based
don't
on it.
consider a site plan.
Your architect drawing kind of showing the lot lines and what all the
Okay, so you guys
setbacks.
have that. You have a,
We only have this.
no, I came and brought down the diagram. We had the property surveyed and Dennis put that on a survey and put exactly where everything would
Okay,
be.
yeah, don't have that in our packet, so we'll,
I brought that down 2 weeks ago.
He did do that, he wrote it a couple weeks before, and I didn't catch it, that's, I can go run upstairs and get it if you'd like.
well, because it wasn't advertised that way, does that make a difference? So do we need to?
And it sounds like if it's, you said a little bit on the, the
Yeah.
picture, the top right,
Literally.
they'll hit the corner, so now you're talking two
Yeah.
locations
Yeah, that's
possibly.
shown
Yeah.
on that larger plan. that was-
I guess my.
Sorry, we didn't get that.
Yeah. My question is the, how was it, advertised to, is still all part of the house, no closer than 21 feet to the rear?
That's correct. That's correct, yeah, that hasn't changed.
Okay, so it's still consistent with what the notice and the letter, with the agenda and the notices that were mailed out to people. I mean, it's up to you.
I still think I'd like to have that in the packet for us to be able
Yeah.
to see that.
And the report needs to probably match the project.
Would you, it's up to you, to refer this to the end of the agenda and take out the other item, to give the rest of a chance to go up and get the plans, or you want to have some time to look at it? It's totally your call. I mean, we haven't looked at it thoroughly.
So you have not, I guess, internally reviewed it really either to make sure? Okay,
Right now.
yeah. Well, I think,
Pretty more comfortable with the.
yeah, and I hate to defer it to the next meeting, but, you know, sounds like what's kind of, we have in our packet is not the plan.
I made a point to bring it down here, so this
Yeah,
won't happen.
yeah. Yeah, you know, sorry to hear that, but, you know, without having all the proper information and
Yeah.
everything in our packet, I think it's best if we defer to the next meeting.
How can I ensure it gets in the packet, though?
I will make sure, I promise you,
Yeah.
that was on me, and I do apologize for
Okay.
that. I'm still new, so I don't,
I'm
it's
sorry,
not
that's
an
what
excuse,
I'm
but
trying really, I
I
was
will.
really going out of my way to avoid this.
Yes, sir, I
Make sure
apologize for that.
That'll teach you.
I understood, like I said, yeah, never meeting, we, you know, apologize for that, making it in here. I just don't think it's, you know, justice to us to not have all,
Okay.
you know, the updated.
So we'll
information.
reschedule a month from now?
So this will be
April
the
8th.
next, April the 8th.
April the 8th.
April, the
Okay.
8th. Same time, same building, yep, same, that's it. So,
It's not starting now. It's just the
I
time.
know, but you should get all your stuff in, and I
We
do
got
apologize.
plenty of
You
time.
got plenty of time, that's all.
Plenty of time.
so we need to make a motion, yeah, would anybody like to make a motion for that?
What's the proper word, abeyance or deferred? Select to make a motion to defer the action at 2828 Longwood Drive, parcel number 61250015.000 until the April 8th zoning adjustment board.
Okay, motion to defer to the next meeting, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second, Shannon, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Defer to next meeting.
See you in April.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, brother.
No worries.
You know, as long as you're happy.
It's gonna be a year and a half.
A year and a half, okay.
Another month isn't gonna hurt. anything.
Another trip downtown.
Maybe you'll let the market come back.
Yeah, right.
All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda, 414 Magnolia Avenue, parcel ID number 60130790.025, requesting to reduce the north side setback from 10 feet to 8 feet in R1. And Elizabeth, if you'll,
It's wait this time.
oh, wait, this time, okay, all right. Okay,
So this is 414 Magnolia. It's the, sort of see the site plan there on the screen, and it's, you said this is a request to reduce the minimum setback for the same building, from the lot line from 10 feet to 8 feet. And probably shows up a little bit better on the first, maybe in your packet, but as part of the lot split that was done, some of the odd configurations. Yeah. I'm not sure. property at the front is 70 feet in width. It's a historically platted lot. It was created through a lot split, I believe in about 2014, 2017. And because of the odd configurations of the parcels in that area, that north lot line actually bends in slightly. It's not a perfectly straight line from front to back. It bends in slightly in about the middle of the lot. So that what it results in is the house, proposed house there, being just 2 feet closer to the property line at that middle point than it would ordinarily be under the standard requirements, if that kind of explains it well. So that the 2 foot, the 2 foot encroachment is not for the entire length of the house, but just as the property line bends in towards the building. And I think that kind of concludes what I have to say about it, and the applicant is here. Yes.
All right, any further questions for Lee or staff before we bring the applicant up? And sir, if you'll come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, please, and feel free to add any additional information.
I live at 715 Forestfield Drive, and I'm fixing to construct a new house on this lot that I've had for like 10 or 15 years. And you want me to explain it to you?
I would kind of like the history of the lot split in
Yes, so the
2020.
lot, I own the house to the south also, and that lot's 50 foot wide by 212 foot deep. And then this lot, 414, I'm guessing when it was originally done, it was 50 foot. And somewhere before we bought it, 19 foot of it on the north side got sold to this lot. So it's actually 69 feet something in the front. And then the north boundary angles in, so where the house is gonna sit in the back at 100 feet back, the lot's only 66 foot wide. So when you're looking at it in the front, it's gonna be 10 foot in the front, so you won't notice it. It'll be in that 100 foot back left corner, where it will be closer, that's why we had to have the variance. So the house is 48 foot wide, and it's 66, and it's going 100 foot back from the property line.
And the tree, that's there.
Yeah, there's an oak tree in the backyard, but we're getting kind of close to it. I was trying to stay further forward from it to stay out the drip line, but it's getting, I guess it's about 20-something foot from the oak tree now.
Okay.
Not exact on that. But I also had a front setback request too. I don't, that didn't make it on there for the front porch.
It's an open porch?
It's a
Yeah.
porch.
So the porch can extend.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
yeah,
thinking.
and that's why it's not in here.
Yeah, we can put the porch out. There's gonna be a driveway on the left and it's gonna step back and start, so there's no main house or
25 feet.
garage setback.
Yeah.
The porch is getting encroached, so that's not a problem.
Yeah,
So it's just that line angles in. Another thing on there, it gets kind of a little, I can explain this to you, but, so we don't, the rear setback, so when I bought the property, the lot was 100 feet deep. And then it had that 19-foot jaw coming back to the south. And then it went back to the 212 feet. So that would have required a 20-foot setback from that little 19-foot piece. So I own that property behind it right there that was tied into another piece of property at 502 Magnolia. So I sold a little piece of sliver of that property to this 414 lot like 5-6 years ago or something. So don't affect the rear setback. So I was able to put the house basically at 100 feet back is where it's gonna stop. Which it really would have been hard to fit a house on there with that rear, I mean, it could have been a smaller house or something.
You definitely need that front setback variance then.
So I don't need a rear setback because the property now, since I had it resurveyed and sold it and all that legal stuff done, so it's just that back left corner basically will be 8 foot off of the property line. And when the house starts in the front, it's gonna be 10 feet off the property line.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant?
Always ask the neighbors, have any issues with anything?
I didn't ask, I'm pretty good with David, I think he's here, possibly.
I'll get into
Yeah,
something.
I own the house to the south, and then I own the house to the north of that property, but I didn't really talk to anybody about anything that we were trying to do.
Sure.
Just working with the architect, trying to figure out how to make it fit, and we went round and round trying to, we was gonna build a 2-story and have a smaller footprint, and then we decided, no, this is gonna be our last house, I don't want stairs, and have to go upstairs and never use it, so we're trying to make fit a single story on the property. And we found this print, and we kinda shortened it down a foot already to make it 48 foot wide. And hopefully, everything will be okay with it. And that's kinda it.
Okay.
So we're excited to build, so we can get everything going.
Yeah, sounds
And they're
good.
building a house across the street now too, so there's gonna be 2 fixing details on there.
I'm gonna see you back here.
I'm not doing that one. But they started clearing the dirt on it.
Okay.
All right.
But that it.
Yeah, that's it. If something else comes up, we may ask you to come back up.
Thank you,
All right. So anybody else to speak for this request? All right. Anybody to speak against this request?
I'm not speaking against it, I might have some questions though, so.
Okay. Name and address, you know that.
Bill Moore, 7 Holcomb Boulevard, and I'm the owner, my wife and I own the property, 416 Magnolia, which is the closest property on the north side. And from what Shane described, it sounds like, you know, we own a little house, a little white house, I don't know if y'all are familiar with that lot or not, it's a little white 2-bedroom, just to the north of it. Now, it sounds like, I don't care if this building is actually 100 feet, I don't know, will the setback even, you know, with the back of our house? My only concern was I didn't want a big house closer that would cut down on a bunch of light and stuff on, you know, but it sounds like it's gonna be.
Yeah, well, I don't have to go by a rear setback.
No, right, but I mean,
Yeah, the house will be like the back of your fence right there, the white fence.
right,
So if you follow that fence from the road all the way back, and it stops at 100 feet right there is where the fence stops at.
so you're saying,
So the.
like, I don't care what happens in the back part of our property,
Yeah.
it's more what happens up by the house.
So up by the house, up by that front, up by the roadway, it's as it's drawn and laid, it's 10 feet
It's 10
setback.
feet.
The only problem is the property line has a funny jog in it,
Like a
which
little-
makes it,
I don't care.
so at the front,
I can
you got that standard 10
But
feet,
the
yeah.
house, just, you know, especially I'm glad it's 1 story, because a 2-story would,
Yeah, could have been a big monstrosity right there.
so that sounds.
But yeah, it'll be, now 10 foot is tight off a property line, because that's been a vacant lot forever.
Right.
Cutting grass,
It's a
parking
real
out
lot.
there, and I start pulling strings, like
Oh.
10 feet ain't very far.
Okay, well, I just.
But, so it's gonna be tied up against that fence,
Okay.
but.
Thank
All right,
you.
thank you. All right, so nobody here to speak against, but we did have some public feedback, and I guess it was received in time, so we don't have to make it part of minutes. It is part of minutes. The only thing, you know, I kind of got, and I'll just kind of address, it seems like they may misunderstand where this is. They talk about safety issue for pedestrians and at the road and cars. I'm thinking maybe they think it's at the front, and that the house is going to be closer to the street. That's just kind of the way I read that. I don't know if anybody else, that's the way I read that and so I don't think
Right, that. she's referring to the life and death is a visual thing, so that's not the back, right?
Fine.
Yeah, I think they talk about pedestrians
So it
on
has
the
to be
road, so
front.
I think that's just at least the way I read it.
That's the way I read it.
So, all right, any further discussion or follow-up questions? Or would anyone like to make a motion?
have no questions. No
I'll go with the
further.
motion. All right, see, I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance for reduction on the north side setback from 10 feet to 8 feet at 415 Magnolia Avenue. 414.
414.
15.
Sorry.
414.
All right, we have a motion to recommend approval of a variance for a reduction of the north side setback from 10 feet to 8 feet at 414 Magnolia Avenue. Do we have a second?
Do you want to add
Oh.
to regular?
Sure, I'm so sorry, yes. Due to the irregular side boundary line, creates a hardship for the property.
So the amended motion is to recommend approval of a variance for the reduction of the north side setback from 10 feet to 8 feet at 414 Magnolia Avenue due to the irregular bearing and width changes on the west property line, or the north property line, the side yard for this lot. Do we have a second?
I'll second
A
that.
motion and a
Yes, sir.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. All right, so that'll also be Tuesday night's boardwalk meeting in the consent agenda. All right, next item is audience request, and anybody like to come up in audience request? All right, so if no one would like to come and speak, have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Go ahead.
Motion to adjourn, second?
Second.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Meeting's ended, thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I did not. So we'll be back in April.
Yeah, that would.
No, we'll be back April 8th.
Pardon me?
No, April 8th, put it on your calendar.
April 8th, it'll be in my mental calendar. What are you talking about?